Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast, with your hosts, Mike Mannino and Nareman Hamdan, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey guys, I'm Nareman Hamdan, and this is Driven Unscripted Success Podcast. We have another awesome guest on today. We have Maribeth Martorana. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did.
All right, awesome. And Maribeth has been in the technology industry for over 20 years. Her areas of expertise are is leadership, innovation, and business strategy. She is the co-founder and CEO of Sapient Advisors. She leads a boutique consultancy for B2B, fintech, financial services, and mid-market companies to design and implement strategic data and AI solutions. How are you, Maribeth?
Great. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
I know. I appreciate you taking the time to come on. We've been trying to get together for a little bit here over the holidays, so we finally made it. Why don't we kick things off by, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got to where you are today?
Sure. What I do is starting Sapient based on my experience having built enterprise data and AI solutions for capital markets on Wall Street, working for big brands like Moody's and FactSet, as well as startups such as Era. I've always been in the product side, working with the technologists to build what the customers want and bringing the voice of the customer back. And just having done this so long, being steeped in data and AI, I was very lucky over 20 years ago to start working with machine learning engineers in my career. As everything has evolved with Gen AI and everything, I just saw a need in the market that people needed help on this journey because it's new to a lot of people. And I felt I could help them solve their pain points.
Sure. And it is, I get a lot of mixed conversations and reviews with AI. There's a lot of people that are on board and excited about it. And there's the doomsday ones that are like, it's going to take over the world. It's going to ruin everything in our jobs and our business and our families. So it's always interesting to be able to talk to someone like you that's actually started a little bit ahead of AI in seeing it coming and working with it and introducing it to people and businesses.
Yeah, I have to say I'm very lucky. I would say people in financial services and healthcare, especially, those industries are just so deep in data, and then also had starting using traditional AI methods, way before the new methods like Gen AI and LLMs. So I was very blessed to be there in that market and kind of see the development and where it was going to go early on.
Absolutely. So what is one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career?
I think one of the biggest challenges is something that it was something I had to learn to do is I actually have always worked on very emerging technology and innovative product teams. And when you're working on the area that's in the white space, green space where the firm wants to go, you're out on a skinny branch and you have to learn to do a lot of storytelling and socialization to bring people into your view. And it may not be now that it's going to happen, but it's going to be in the future. And a lot of people are just very focused, especially with public companies, on the short term, this quarter, next quarter, and so on. But what is the long-term vision? And what do you need to do with the firm as you navigate that? So getting that buy-in for initiatives and building those things is one of the biggest challenges that I had to overcome in the space that I've always lived in corporate.
Sure. Yeah, I can only imagine. So what's a skill or a habit you think doesn't get enough credit or for contributing to your success?
Let's see, contributing to my success. I think one of the skill or habit for me has been, I actually will probably, everyone has to learn how to do this, is delegate. And I've learned to actually delegate. I've delegated a lot. I've delegated a lot of things to the people who have worked for me. And even now, starting Sapient, I don't get always hung up in the details. And some people will say, oh, it's not a good thing to get not hung up in the details or worry about those details. But I think if you get good people around you, then you can do more and then you can delegate. So I think I've actually been able to find some really good talent to delegate to and trust. And it actually motivates them and they have ownership and empowerment. So I think that part has not always been where I've gotten the credit with my teams. And then but the proof in that has been anybody who's worked for me, they're still in touch with me to this day. We have good relationships. A number of junior members on my team that I'm still in touch with from corporate.
That's fantastic. So everyone hits a bump in the road every now and then. Can you share a time things didn't pan out and how you got through it?
Yeah, I had to do when I was running one of my product roles that I had working in big corporate. I think I started out really well on some projects and some things that had worked out really successfully. And there were some changes organizationally and with the manager that I had. That change, I did not do as well with my career. The manager I had before, I think, understood where I was coming from. And the new manager, his style and my style were very different. And I wasn't promoted, passed on some opportunities. And I really had to kind of learn to navigate and find out, okay, how can I build a connection, prove to this person, worked through it. I got eventually some opportunities to put on assignments, but it was very difficult at first to get through it, like emotionally, mentally. And I started doing some things outside of work that made me happy. And then I started to slowly like talk to people and getting their advice to work with this person and what would like shift it with them. And then over time, it did shift, but it took me, I would say, a year to 2 years to get to a good to really dig out and get to the right place. One thing that I would do differently now is I don't think I think I would have made a move sooner to like another role or something versus maybe if you have the wrong manager, having the right manager makes all the difference with your career, but
Right.
having the wrong manager, I think I would now like would have cut the cord sooner and looking for something
Sure.
either internally in the company or externally from the firm sooner than I did, much sooner.
Yeah, absolutely. To try and figure it out for 2 years, and you eventually did. But I agree with you that like it was it could have ended sooner.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm
actually, and I think women, we tend to do it longer than men. And I'll be honest about that. Just want to I have a good friend who just switched roles and was assistant general counsel at a firm. And she stuck it out and she didn't have a male boss, she had a woman boss, but she stuck it out for 3 years and it was 3 years too long. So
sure.
she's learned to sell it. I think that's something that I think women don't tend to do cut that cord. We keep trying to make it work in
Sure.
relationships and we want them. So I've learned maybe the hard way, but it was a good lesson to learn and I won't make that mistake again.
Sure. Staying on top of any field is tough. What's something exciting on the horizon in your industry, and how are you getting ready for it?
Yeah, what I've been getting ready for a while now is what I think is exciting and where big reason why we did a pivot last year. I think it's exciting to see that people who haven't been in technology are starting startups because of AI and they can do things they never could before and they can build a business and whatnot. This fantastic. And then I see last year, OpenAI made a big announcement about you can only have enterprise consulting services unless you have over spend $10 million or more. So where does that leave the people in the mid markets?
Right.
They need help. So what I'm excited about is helping the people in the middle markets get really clear, cutting through the chaos and noise, and being able to successfully implement AI in their organizations. I'm very excited to see what AI agents are going to be able to do for them because people in the middle are competing with the big guys. And then also there's the people coming up using technology and a lot of them are getting asked, what are you doing with AI? And I'd like to see like how we can supercharge their business. I think that's what really excites me is what they're going to be able to do now with those tools for their business and to compete. And they can do it more nimbly than the big guys.
Yeah, that's exciting. So leading a team has its challenges. What's your leadership style? And can you give us an example of how it helped you through a tough spot?
Yeah, my leadership style, I would say, is, and talking to anyone who's worked with me, I will oversee things, but I will not micromanage. I've never been a micromanager. I'm more been someone who paints the big picture, where we're going, what we're doing. And then that's helped me where people are empowered. And then also, if you get stuck, come and talk to me. I think one of the things where that's helped me was on a couple of big initiatives, and especially people on my team. uh, Having worked in large organizations, you always have to go to bat for them. I've had some team members where they were not working well or gelling on my team. They have different styles and they have to work together. And I had two women I can think of in particular, one a little bit the middle of her career, one a little bit more junior, and the junior had some different ideas. But one of the things I think that was good is, and my boss at the time was like, "You have a definite problem here." And one of the things is, I think because I let them both work on this project and be empowered, they also felt comfortable coming to me with the problems they had with one another. But what I also did is I told them you need to go out of the office and you need to go have a conversation with each other, go to a coffee shop, and not have it in the office. And actually making them go out of the office was the best thing I ever did, because then after that, they like cleared the air and they could move on. And because they were not working well together, the project
Sure.
wasn't going well. And it was a big project that had to get delivered. So that was something I learned was, and my boss was the one who told me, he was like, you have to send them outside of the office and have them like sit down and talk to each other.
Sure. Yeah. And
Yeah.
actually get to know each other outside of the workplace. And so they're not feeling like they're being combative, and not
Yeah.
getting anywhere. Yeah. That was good that you set that up. So when you're building your dream team, what's the one trait that you always look for and why?
The trait I always look for is the curiosity in a person. They always want to learn, because I've come from a product background and you have to be always keep on learning, whether you're
Sure.
what you're building, what your insights are, where the market's going. And you may not have the A, B, and C skills, but if you have curiosity and drive to learn, you're gonna be able to pick it up and figure it out. So that's my biggest thing, is having the curiosity and the desire to learn. I've always said to people, when I've had people who've never done product for me or worked on certain things in their career when they're were junior, as long as they wanted to learn and they had a yearning for that, or even if you're later in your career, you maybe have to change, brush up on some skills or reskill. As long as you want to learn, that is my biggest thing, is the curiosity and desire.
Absolutely. So how do you encourage your team to think outside the box and bring new ideas to the table?
So I think one thing that you have to there's a couple of things I would say to people. One is you have to have a safe space, right? That they can come and bring their ideas. And no idea is a bad idea.
Sure.
Everybody has different viewpoints. You need to get those out there. I actually like a lot of brainstorming, whiteboarding, just throwing the everything out there. Then you can curate those ideas. I also tell people, look, and having always done agile and product methodologies, like we're all about being lead and actually trying things out. And it's an experiment. You experiment, you learn from it, see how it goes, and then you can tweak it and go from there. And so I always think there should be some time to experiment as well. But you have to give people a safe space, and not only the safe space to say their ideas, but the safe space to try something. And it may fail and may not work, but they will learn something from that. And that's the only way you're going to be able to improve and iterate on it. So it's a big mantra of what we do in our work, and then how I've actually worked with my teams and like people working with me the best way.
Sure. So what does a day in your life look like and how do you juggle work and everything else?
Oh, that's a good one. Day in the life. First of all, I think it's getting my morning coffee. Many times, what I find works really well for me is, and it makes a total difference that I do it, is taking a morning walk. I like to take a morning walk. I either will listen to a podcast, maybe read a little bit. Again, I get a little bit of go back to that whole learning idea there. My thing
Sure.
is, once And also from working from home, and I've been doing this since the pandemic, I also make sure that I always get dressed and ready for work so that it gives me structure for my day. So my day can vary from internal meetings, clients. I sometimes will have appointments outside the house. So I make sure I try to have everything set up in my calendar, but things do arise as well. And then we're all remote here. So it definitely, I have to make sure I like manage and like my calendar and like what tools we have to stay in touch with each other. And then we actually have a daily little stand up every morning. And that kind of gets us all organized for the day and who's doing what and helps with the handoffs. It varies, but if I start my day off the right way, my mindset is totally different to handle my day. If I don't, it's a different
Yeah,
story, I find. I don't know about yourself, but if I have that routine and I'm able to do that routine, it gives me the mindset that I need for the rest of the day.
absolutely. I'm the same way. I gotta have my coffee first, go get my workout done or a walk, and then it just gets your mindset
Yeah.
set on the right path. You're positive, you're ready to go. But yeah, if I veer off of my routine in the morning, the day could be unpredictable.
Yeah, your energy is just off.
Yeah,
Somehow it's
absolutely.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's the day doesn't go as smoothly as it should at times when in those moments.
exactly.
So has there been a book, podcast, or someone that's really changed your outlook or approach?
A look of approach. I say one of the podcasts that I'm not sure if it's the approach, but I think I really enjoy, and I always tell people who are even trying to learn more about AI and just keeping it very simple, is I love the AI Daily Brief with Nathaniel Whitmore. And he goes through everything that's happening. It's like cliff notes for the day. It's like 15, 20 minutes. And it can be what's happening technologically. It could be an announcement. It could be a new tool. It could be something geopolitical. And he keeps it very simple and refreshing. And what I like is that he breaks it down for people. And one of the things I take from him is trying to like keep things simple and to explain things so that people understand and not to assume that people understand what I'm talking about because they may not have the same knowledge or background. I try to do it in a very nice and like educational way. And I just like how his style that he has and his mission actually. And that's really, I've been listening to him for like last couple of years and I really take that in.
That's great. So
Yeah.
how do you tackle learning new things, especially stuff that's way outside of your comfort zone?
What I actually am someone who does better in the morning. I have more energy in the morning than later in the day.
Sure.
When I want to learn things, I try to give myself like 20 minutes each morning, whether it's a podcast or it's reading something. So, like right now, I'm reading something about $100 million leads by Alex Hermosi. And I basically read a little bit of that book each day. I've been like taking notes. I'll watch even videos and things like that to reinforce it. And then I'll start to try to apply those things. And I find that's the best way for me to do it. And every little bit like just builds on each other. Because
Sure.
if you think you have to read the whole thing at once, you're not gonna do it. And if I break it down, but for me, like a little bit each day, and I do it in the morning because by the end of the day, it's just not gonna happen. And then I'm
Yeah,
just not gonna absorb it.
sure. Yeah, your brain's a toast by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Totally understand that. It sounds like things are going really well for you and your business. As you're looking towards the future, I was wondering if or how you create passive income or if you've invested in the past.
Oh, sure. Actually, my husband and I, we have invested in like commercial real estate, like multifamily housing, not in Florida, but in West Texas. We have
Sure.
some things there. And then I've actually been actually it's a path to I think passive income is I've actually ramped up my social media greatly last year on LinkedIn. And then I've started a newsletter and doing a number of things on Substack. And then I'm going to turn some of that into, I think, workshops and courses. I think a lot
Great.
of AI literacy and education is needed, but also I come from like a data monetization background, and there's a lot of things that people can do. and which is a unique skill to have with AI and data. So I want to turn those things into products. That would be
Sure.
more of like a passive. And it's also a way to scale Sapient. And then another idea, just to say that I'm full of ideas, is down this path also would be building like a digital twin. And I actually have a firm I want to work with, and I want to build digital twins. So you can literally get Maribeth or somebody on the team, and maybe you can't afford Maribeth to like work on an engagement at your company,
Sure.
but you could actually have the digital twin and a subscription to that.
That's really neat. That is pretty
Yeah.
neat. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great idea.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. So as we're wrapping up our interview, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have in the works for in the next 6 to 12 months? What do you got going on?
So and then this year, a lot of work, like especially the early part of the year with a number of clients and working with them about getting their AI strategy put together. But I guess on the fun side, we definitely, since I'm from Northern New Jersey and my husband's from the Jersey Shore, we'll be going to go see family and hanging out at the beach this summer in New Jersey a bit. And then we're hoping to do a couple of short trips to actually some places that we wanted to explore in Florida. Hopefully, like to see Esta Key, want to go check that out. A little bit on the West Coast, some things up also Amelia Island. We went there for a wedding last year. We want to go back. So we have some trips here. We want to check out more of the state. We've been here for a few years and we want to explore and travel a little bit here.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in Florida as well, and I moved here in 21, and I've explored some areas, but there's so much that I keep seeing in the like little reels on different areas, and I'm like, that's really in Florida. So
Yes.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. So yeah, so that'll be fun. So if you had one nugget of advice for someone wanting to follow in your footsteps, what would it be?
My one nugget of advice is you never know when opportunity is going to come. And opportunity can even be in the form of chaos, and chaos always has opportunity. And like to turn that into a positive and seize on it. So whenever you have an opportunity, no matter how small or large it is, take a look at it and be open to it and be creative with that opportunity and even look for opportunities where others might not see opportunity. And that's what I mean by where there's chaos, there's opportunity.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much, Maribeth, for coming on today and taking the time to share your story. If someone wanted to get a hold of you or your services, how does one get a hold of you?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn, Maribeth Martorana. Also, you can get me at Maribeth at sapient-advisors.com. There's my email. Anyone can send me a message or DM me on LinkedIn. More than happy to have a conversation or chat.
Great.
Thank you for
so
having me.
much. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. And thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.